Yo, what's up? It's BisonVaulted back again with another creamy video for you guys. I'm your host, Nate, my other host.
How you doing, Josh?
And today we're doing the Shaman card reveal, or card review, for the Hearthstone set Titans, which is coming out, I believe you said August 1st?
Yep,
Oh, it's coming out in early August, right?
Yep, August 1st.
Okay. So I'm a Shaman main, but Josh is actually good at the game, so take our opinions as you will. But yeah, so first card here, Lightning Reflexes. Discover nature spell. If you play this turn, discover another. It's 1 cost. So right off the bat, most of the if we don't really know if this discovers from only the class or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way I read the text, it just says discover a nature spell. I think if it was going to be class specific, it'd say discover a shaman nature spell.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to discover from any class.
Which is a buff, right? I feel like most of the druid nature spells is stuff that shaman generally wants to do, right? So
yeah, I'm a little torn because I think it could go either way. Like, you might want to discover, if you're running more of an overload package, you might want to discover specifically shaman because
that's true.
Overload.
Yeah.
But if you're not running that specific package, then I think having that wider pool could be better.
And also, I think this is a lot of cheap. Most of the cheap nature spells are in druid, right? So you have what? You have like the dredge card, innervate, wild growth, that kind of stuff. So I think
it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but I think 1 mana discover 2 most of the time. I feel like I feel like you never play this turn 1. This is like a good card to top deck into late game. I feel like kind of thing. For draw late game.
I wouldn't be playing it turn 1 unless I'm really trying to tempo out. But it's definitely gonna be a later kind of situation.
And what kind of deck do you see this running in? I guess like control. You definitely never run this in aggro. I feel like. But overload package could work. Like you said, that's like mid-rangey, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna go in a tempo mid-range deck.
Which makes sense to me.
This finds its home.
And I think that would be good in that.
Later on, when you're kind of gassing out a little bit, you get this 2 more spells, filling your turn.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good in that in like that anyways. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty strong.
That 1 card, on turn 5, 6, 7, depending on what you're discovering, fills your entire turn.
Yeah, it gives you card advantage. That's true. So yeah, I think it's definitely not meta defining, I feel like, but it's not weak. So I'm gonna say like it's definitely maybe a 3-star kind of card. 3-star, maybe 4-star.
Yeah, probably.
So
yeah, because like you're gonna end up getting the turns where it's like you play this, you play a pack the house, you get to discover another spell off of it. Granted, it has to, if you want to, you don't have to play that one, but
is Pack the House nature?
What?
Is Pack the House a nature spell?
No shit, that's overload. What am I thinking of?
Well, you could get the three. This is a really good overload. Like the Turn the Tides, which we'll get to later. I feel like that's a pretty good.
Turn the Tides, Drive Insect.
The Shaman pool of nature spells is pretty strong. I feel like too.
Command of Neptulon.
See, I'm gonna say 3-star. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I'm in that 3-star range. I need to see where it kind of falls. I can see it being a good piece, but for now, I think it has a good spot at 3 stars.
Okay, so next up we got 2-cost 2/3 Disciple of Galganeth. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random overload card in your hand by 1. See, I think off the bat, I think it's on paper it seems good for having like a 2-mana 2/3 with a minor upside, but I feel like it's not that like good.
I think this is gonna be pretty weak overall. I mean,
if it was a 1/4, maybe
you're gonna need to first have. I mean, it will feel good in some case. Like if you hit like that command of Neptulon, then yeah, you're gonna feel great that you can cheat that out turn earlier, or but you're kind of it's just overload card in your hand. So there are some different overload pieces that are nice to have, but the 1 mana advantage.
It's not that crazy.
No, it's not gonna be enough, I don't think, to push this forward.
Cause like I feel like even it's also like a minion that your opponent can just leave on the board. Like I mean I know it does discount a spell by 1, but like you top deck this late game, it's terrible too.
Man, but what if you play this on 2, and then you hit your Jive Insect coin, and they leave that up, coin into Jive Insect on 3.
Dude, because that's gonna happen every game. I feel like this card should just be instant S tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of that one case.
100% what's gonna happen.
So I think it's definitely better than some cards. So maybe a 2-star. But I think it's gonna get tried out and not played in the long term.
Yeah. What's gonna end up happening is it's gonna hit your pack the house. You might get that out on 6, which I mean it's not bad. You know, cheating out some of these bigger spells. Or the other case scenario, it hits like your turn the tide, and you get that out a little earlier.
I think
Still,
this card
doesn't fit curve well.
Yeah, I think if we look at the next card though, it just does what that card wants to do for like just better, I guess. Like, so next card, 2 mana. Oh, what's your star rating? My bad, Josh, for this card.
Oh, Disciple. I think it's a 2-star card.
2-star. Okay. All right. Next card. Flash of Lightning, 2 mana epic shaman spell. Draw a card. Next turn your nature spells cost 1 less. So I'm a believer. I really like this card. That's just because I'm a shaman main, and I want to play like an OTK deck with this. But I'm just not sure how good this is, to be honest. And I feel like there's not very many cards that front load in this type of like way. You know what I mean? Like your spells cost 1 less next turn, but only nature spells. I think there's definitely some potential with this card, depending on what the mini set drops. You know what I mean? But at the moment, I feel like it's just not that good.
I think it definitely has pop-off capabilities. Going back to lightning reflexes, because it makes your lightning reflexes free on the next turn. So that kind of feeds into it, makes you be able to play it out faster, get your second spell. But I seriously think this is going to find its home in Wild more so than in Standard. When you're looking at the pool of nature spells in Wild compared to Standard, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
And also, I think this will fit nicely in an overload nature spell package, especially in Wild. As you see some of these other cards that we will showcase here fit into that theme. But when you look at cards, you know, you have your lightning bolts and things like that. Getting those to be free, that's really powerful. So this is definitely a setup card. You're trying to make giant plays. You're not really, it's not going to feel as good only getting, 1 mana discount out of it. You're going to want to pop off. So we'll see what kind of deck takes shape with it, but I think it's going to be better off in Wild for the time being.
Yeah, playing this is like a 2 mana draw card, discount 1, like a spell by 1 feels really bad, I feel like. But yeah, I don't think it's that bad, because that's not going to happen too much, because if you're going to run this in a deck, you're going to have a bunch of nature spells, I feel like.
Yeah, I am happy to see the card draw aspect of this. Just getting extra cards in hand could give you the chance of getting another nature spell, obviously. But because without that, if it was just your nature spells cost 1 less the next turn, that would be absolutely
awful. That would be terrible.
I think the card draw upside is definitely nice. Like if you are in a pinch and you need some cards, you're able to play that, get that extra card. Maybe find something that you could either use on your next pop-off turn or something that you could use now.
So I think 3. I think has potential. I think it's more potential than the 2-drop at least. So I'm gonna say 3.
Completely agree. I think 3 is a good spot for it.
Okay. On to the next one, which is Thorium, of course. 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry. Unlock your Overlord mana crystals. Draw that many cards. So I think we disagree slightly here. I think this card's better than Josh thinks it is. I feel like obviously you run this in Overload like combo type ish deck. I'm not sure that's gonna be a thing, but drawing cards and unlocking the overloaded mana crystals, I feel like has really good pop off potential. If this was like an epic effect, I feel like it'd be really good, but on a legendary, I'm not sure how insane that is. Any thoughts?
You're running this on a 1-of in your deck. so you get one shot at it. But my thing is, yeah, the card draw is nice, but this we already see this unlock your mana crystals on multiple other spells. Like you got the one cost spell.
There's overdraft.
Yeah, overdraft already. That does the same thing. That also does damage for your if you're trying to pop off with crystals. You can just send 3-4 damage base or clear. This I don't know. I think it's gonna be slow. Plus, I'm not a believer in overload yet. I don't think there's enough cards to support it. Plus, I don't like the idea that you have to the sacrificing your turns later, especially how fast tempo the metas have been lately. Sacrificing mana crystals on the next turn can kind of bite you in the ass. So,
yeah, that's true.
Know. I'm not a big believer in the archetype, but I do think that this card could help it get there if one does come around, if we get some support, especially in the next mini set. But we'll have to see.
So I'm gonna say, I want to say 4, but I'm probably gonna go down to 3 after your explanation. To be honest, I'm not sure what you want to put him.
Yeah, I'm pretty hard on a 3-star. Star here. I just don't think it gets. It's not the big enough payoff that you need to see to get this over the hump.
Okay. All right. Next up, Turn the Tides. 3 mana spell. Nature, of course. Give a hero +3 attacks. Summon a 3/3 with Rush and Overload 1. I think this card's really strong. I think it's really splashable. To be honest, you put this in. You could put this in probably any Shaman deck you want, and it's gonna do good. Like it gives you. If you're playing into aggro, it gives you 3 damage to a minion and another 3 damage to a minion. With Overload 1, which I feel like actually could be more beneficial in this. And it has Nature, so it combos with like Lightning Reflexes really well. Or it can be discovered by Lightning Reflexes. I think it's a pretty strong card. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. I'm a big fan of this card, this Turn the Tides. I think that it is just a great piece to put in any decks. I don't know if you remember back in Witchwood, I think it was a
it's like Hunter's Mark? Flanking Strike. Yeah.
Flanking Strike from Cobalt and Catacombs, which is a 4-cost Hunter spell that was deal 3, summon a 3/3. I mean, it's not targeted, as that spell was, so you have to, attack into it. But also getting that 3/3 with Rush, it's putting those stats into action immediately compared to what Flanking Strike could do. And Flanking Strike got played in everything. That was a very popular, very played card. So I think this will find its place, especially at 3 mana in most any Shaman deck. Just kind of running 2 of them, being able to control that early game better. Taking out, probably getting a good trade with the 3/3 into a 2-drop, or if you do have to swing into something, you can break up that damage. So I'm a big fan of this card.
Yeah, I think it could be 5-star, to be honest. I think this could be pretty defining for Shaman at least. I think.
I mean,
keep going. Sorry.
I can see it up to 5. I'm definitely on the fringe of 4 and 5. If it didn't have the overload, I think it would definitely be a 5-star card. But again, you're sacrificing 1 mana crystal to do this, which does kind of make it a Flanking Strike, just borrowing a crystal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put it at 4, just be safe. So I'm gonna say 4.
Yeah, the best Shaman decks right now are like Evolve and Totem, and this card probably wouldn't be slotted into either actually. So probably 4, I think. I think 4 is fair.
Yeah, I think Totem's gonna die with the one.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Over. But that's gonna.
And then Evolve is Spin. Actually, Evolve is doing a lot better than it was. It's kind of making a comeback. That's kind of a new and up-and-coming one.
Mm-hmm.
The Evolve Shaman.
So we'll go with 4.
We'll see. Yeah,
okay. 4. Okay. Next up, Champion of the Storms, 4 mana, 3/5. After you cast a nature spell, summon a 4/2 elemental, forge with Rush. I think right off the bat, this is one of the cards you definitely would want to forge. So if you're gonna run, what's the legendary? It's like Discover Weapon if you forge this game. I think you could incorporate that legendary if you want to run this card, but I'm just not sure how strong this card is in general. So it's effectively 6 mana, because without the forge, the 4/2s are pretty useless in my opinion. But if you do have I think this card depends on how good pop-off turns are with nature spells and lightning reflexes. Because if you do combo those cards with this one, that is very strong on paper. I'm just not sure how easy that's going to be to, like, do. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a believer in this card. I think, well, I'll get it out of the way. I think Forge is going to be an awful keyword, having to sacrifice 2 mana to give another card an effect that you have to bank that mana.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see it being a good payoff. And with this, it has a 4 mana overhead to begin with. And if you don't Forge it, I think just summon a bunch of 4/2s is terrible.
Yeah.
You have to Forge it to give it any form of viability. Because you gotta think there was the 3/6 that summoned a 2/1 with Rush. So that got played a lot, but they had Rush, so you were able to use the stats. This just by itself, I think it's kind of unplayable, even with the Forge.
It's also a reactive card. You don't play this on a dry board.
It's possible to make a sticky board with it. You know, you can clear some stuff up. I just can't see it working.
Yeah, I think I would almost go 1, to be honest, just because Forge is just such a bad mechanic.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's a 1-star card.
Okay, I'll stick with 1. Okay, next up, Tempest Hammer, 4 mana 1/3 weapon. After this attacks, or after your hero attacks, excuse me, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. I think the fact that it does damage to the lowest health enemy is like gonna save this card, to be honest. If it was random enemy, this would be unplayable. But I think this is pretty good in like a control-y mid-range deck. Maybe I'd want it to have 4 charges, but that seems a little too strong for 4 mana. But I mean, what do you think, Josh? Yeah. I'm not really that sure on how I feel about this card yet.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in between on it. I do like, as you said, that it does 3 to the lowest health. So if you're kind of in those, you know, playing against something like you gets off to a fast start, this is definitely a way to start cleaning up that board. Granted, you're going to take kind of a downturn on 4. You'll be able to maybe clear up 1 minion, depending on, you know, you might get 2, depending if they have a 1 health, then you can just bump into the 1 health and snipe the next lowest. But I don't know. I think it's definitely okay. Like you said, the 3 charges isn't great, but I think if it was 4, it would be too many. But I do like how this does go its lowest enemy, so it can go face.
Yeah.
If you're running a pretty aggressive deck, like this could find its spot as a finisher in an aggressive deck when you're just, you know, you can clear the board or whatnot and just send 3 chip damage to face, then you go over the top. Like they only have, if they are the lowest health, you just snipe their face. We've seen that work with Demon Hunter, with Spell Barrage, you know, just being able to go over the top. So we'll see what happens here. I think though I think
3 is fair.
On this one. Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say. I think it 3 is fine for this.
Yeah, there's some potential. Okay. Next up, Crash of Thunder, 5 mana nature spell, deal 3 damage to all enemies, costs 1 less for each nature spell you've cast this turn. I think this card, like I said with Champion of Storms, kind of, but I think this card definitely strong with Champion of Storms right off the bat. I think this is a very combo heavy card. If you can get this down to 0 somehow, that's gonna be really good. Just 3 mana deal all. So it hits phase 2. You gotta remember that. So I think in a mid-rangey nature overload kind of deck, this would slot in pretty well. It is reactive too, but I think it's fairly strong.
My problem with it, the only problem I really see with it is if you're trying to pop all with Champion of Storms, a lot of spells are targeted. So you're going to get this down to 0, play it, clear the board, then you can't target anything else. So your pop-off turn's done.
Yeah, that's also true.
Unless you start sniping your own guys.
Well, that's assuming you use your 3/5 or the what's it called, the card. So.
But I do like that. I like this card after you've only played. You know, if you play 1 nature spell, this at 4 mana is already pretty enticing. 3 of the board and get in some face damage. I mean, it's enticing. It's not, you know, crazy. At 3 mana though, you play 2 nature spells. I think this is a great spell. I think it's, you know, you don't have to get it down to 0. I think after, you know, a two nature spell turn, you know, it's pretty good. Going back to that, the 1-drop, lightning reflexes, you know, you could easily play 2 spells in a turn and get this down to 3.
If you discover it off the second one, right? It's 2 mana.
Yeah, exactly. So if you discover all lightning reflexes, play the first, discover this, it's 3 mana. There you go.
Mhm. It's pretty nuts. Yeah, I think 4. I think 4 stars fair.
I'm pretty good with 4 because even at its base, if you're getting smoked down by an aggro token deck, even playing this at 5 is gonna feel great.
Yeah.
It's just a nice board clear to kind of clean up a little bit.
Mhm. Anything extra is just gravy on top. So yeah, yep. I think 4 is fair. My only issue is that you got to react to something with it. It's a reactive card, but I think it's still at 4 is still good. You hit 2 mains with this and face at 4 cost, and that's already great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about that it's a reactive card because that's the way that the Shaman archetype that they're handing us here is gonna be. We're not gonna. It's not gonna be it's not looking too smorky on the at least from the standard side. It's definitely gonna be kind of a sit back and control situation. So you're gonna wanna. You just want to kind of survive, get to your. I can see it definitely being a criminal lineup. Like I can see an OTK deck coming out of this with criminal lineup and Jive Insect.
Yeah, I could totally see that too.
Want to get to that combo. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I think this card could help it get there.
Okay, on to the next one. Now for what I think to be one of the best cards in this set is Golganeth the Thunderer. 6 mana, 5/7 Titan. The first spell you cast each turn costs 3 less. So this effect alone I feel like is pretty good, right? But it's the Titan abilities that I think push this card over the top. So we have Roaring Storms, deal 3 damage to all enemies, restore 6 to all friendly characters. So that's already Crash of Thunder, but I think that's literally fair for 6 mana right off the bat. And if you cast a spell that costs 3 less, that's already paying off the Golganeth, right? But that's if you want to do the Roaring Oceans. Because you can also Lord of Skies, which I believe this is from Josh though, is the Titan sniping ability. Your opponent plays the Titan, you use this card as a reactive card, you snipe the Titan. And that alone is just pretty insane to me. It's pretty good just with that. And then last ability.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You finish.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we just talked about, is that we said Shaman's gonna be a lot more reactive this meta. You know, you're gonna be playing second. You know, you're gonna be reacting, and Golganeth is the best reaction. You just can slam it down, Lord of Skies, or if you don't like, Roaring Ocean when your opponent's ahead, you're getting smorked down. Drop this, clear the board, heal yourself up for 6. If you have a couple guys on board, you can trade in first, then heal them up. I disagree that ability, the Roaring Ocean is a 6 drop itself, but I mean, actually, pretty close.
Well, with the effect. If you cast a spell too, then it's already paying back the 6 mana, I feel like.
Yeah, 100%. If you're able, cast a spell, I love your first spell each turn costs 3 less. I think that's fabulous. We already see that with Love Everlasting. Well, not 3, it's 2 with Love Everlasting.
Which is still insane.
It's still so strong. So getting any mana discounts to that extent is fabulous. But go ahead and tell them about the last ability here.
If the board's empty and your hero's full, you just play this, draw 3. And that's also crazy, because then you can combo any overload cards you draw. Let's say you take Turn the Tides, you play a free Turn the Tides the same turn you play Golganeth. So, which is just gives you so much tempo, I feel like. I think he's just nuts.
Or you drop him on turn 10, you draw your Pack the House, then you have Golganeth, a 6, 5, 4, and 3.
Yeah, which is also disgusting.
You still have your coin, you get criminal lineup, guess what? Now you have 4 Golganeths. Sorry.
That's even more gross.
Yeah. Or, people are, something that people are forgetting about in this, because it hasn't really gotten any form of play. How about Jazz Base?
It discounts.
Costs 1 less, overload while equipped to improve.
Run that same deck as this dude.
Yeah, you play 1 or 2, you can play any spell you draw.
For free. It's just nuts. It's a nuts card. I think this is almost 6 stars if we could give it 6 stars.
Yeah,
I think he's
but
probably the
unfortunately
best
can't
Titan.
Give it 6, but yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna be, or he is one of the best printed cards in this
Expansion. Mm-hmm.
But hopefully a Shaman deck emerges where he can shine. But I think he's very strong. I like this card a lot. I think it was a well-designed card, and I think it will definitely find its place.
And then last card here, Thorgnir Drake. 7 mana, 6/6 rush. Whenever this targets or whenever this attacks, summon 2/3/1 whelps to attack the target first. I think this card's just not good. Like it's a Jimmy card.
Yeah, this card is hot ass. This is terrible in my opinion. I hate this card.
It's so awkward with 3 attack, the 2 elves. I think if it summoned 2 elves with rush when it attacks, it would be way better and actually fair. But if you hit something with 4 health, this is already so awkward. So it's always gonna die. It has 6 health as a 7 drop. It's not good. Even if you hit.
Wasn't there a paladin card that did something similar? But that one had Wind Fury.
I'm not. You're thinking of Neptulon maybe. Neptulon's actually good though.
Yeah, because they're immune.
Yeah. This card's too awkward. I think it's not good. I think it's not Cassini play.
Yeah,
one drop or 1 star.
This on your turn 7, right? Congrats, you might be able to clear. You might not even be able to clear. How bad is this gonna feel when your opponent has a 7 drop? What has anything with 7 health or more? You attack into it, you're losing both whelps and the body.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just played a 7 mana clear 1. End turn.
I think it's 1 star. It's just 1. There's no redeeming qualities.
Yeah, I mean.
I know we're hating on it.
I can see it being good if you're attacking into like an 8/3.
Yeah.
Something's damaged already, and then you're left with a 6/6 and a 3/1. I mean.
That's just situational.
Good, but how often are you gonna be able to set that up?
Yeah. So definitely a 1 star.
I think there's just better cards you can run that take this spot, and you'll feel better about playing them. More versatility. I just don't like it. Like think about you have this. I'd rather play a command of Neptulon, get 2 5/4s, and pick and choose what I'm attacking into. And
it's 1 mana less.
Or how about 1 mana less? How about Horn of the Windlord?
Significantly better card. So much better than this card.
Yeah, how about I just destroy anything I want twice?
Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities of this card, unfortunately. It's cool for a dragon and shaman, but it's just not good. But so that's our review for the shaman cards. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of this type of video. We're probably gonna drop the warlock tomorrow, is my guess. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any final remarks, Josh?
Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you liked our insight. If you disagree with anything we said, just make sure to let us know in the comment section. We're always happy to hear other people's input on the cards.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.